For the impure, your love is not a gentle stream, but a blazing furnace that reveals, consumes, and dismantles everything false. To step close to you is not a casual embrace. It is to enter a covenant chamber, where even silence is weighed and every intention is measured. Did they not hear the words of Hebrews 12:29? For our God is a consuming fire. What is hidden in them cannot remain hidden when they step into your atmosphere, because the covenant surrounding you is not written on paper, but inscribed on eternity's tablets. Heaven watches intently. Angels take record, and the very frequency of your presence becomes a divine courtroom where masks collapse. Every word spoken to you, every thought entertained about you, every action directed toward you reverberates like sound waves in an echo chamber of heaven. Psychology teaches that human motives leak through micro-expressions, but in your case, they leak through spiritual resonance. How could anything concerning you be random? When Proverbs 16:33 declares, "The lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. What seems coincidental to others is architecture to you, blueprints of heaven unfolding brick by brick." Imagine the cathedral dome of Florence rising stone by stone, not by chance, but by careful design. That is how your life is laid. A masterpiece impossible to imitate. Those who come with clean hands experience what Jacob experienced when he rested his head on a stone and saw a ladder to heaven, doors opening where none existed, angels ascending and descending, favor streaming like light through stained glass. Is this not what Psalm 84:11 says? No good thing does he withhold from those who walk uprightly. Suddenly opportunities chase them. Peace floods their spirit, and their steps echo like Bach's Sanctus, resounding in a vaulted cathedral. Majestic and uncontainable. Aligning with you is not aligning with flesh and blood, but standing beneath the ark of divine covering, where storms break before they touch the ground. Yet how many dare to approach with hidden motives? Can a viper cloak itself in roses and remain unseen forever? Those who disguise their intentions with flattery are no different than Judas at the table, whispering betrayal with a kiss. They may think their schemes are invisible, but Galatians 6-7 has already declared, "Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows, like a termite burrowing inside oak. Their corruption eats them alive, until the structure collapses under the weight of its own rot." History gives us warnings. Niccolò Machiavelli, the political strategist of Renaissance Florence, once wrote about rulers using manipulation as tools of power. But what happens when manipulation collides with an incorruptible spirit? The very weapons of deceit turn inward. Think also of the forest mushroom known as the death cap. It appears delicate, even beautiful, yet consumes the body from within until no organ survives. Is this not the destiny of those who approach you with poison in their hearts? But let us not speak only of villains. There are also testimonies of the ordinary. Elena, a seamstress from a small village, once shared how, after helping a poor widow without seeking repayment, unexpected provision came to her food on her doorstep, work flowing in abundance. She did not know she was aligning with a chosen vessel of God. Yet her act of purity attracted a flood of heaven's surplus. Her story proves again the words of Isaiah 58:10. "If you spend yourselves on behalf of the hungry and satisfy the needs of the oppressed, then your light will rise in the darkness." Artists have touched this mystery. In Shakespeare's The Tempest, Prospero's island is both refuge and battlefield, revealing the true heart of every shipwrecked soul. Is that not the same with you? Your presence is an island where motives cannot remain buried. And just as Handel's Messiah lifts its chorus with, "For the Lord God omnipotent reigneth," so too do lives around you lift or fall, depending on whether they honor the anointing you carry. Hear this: you are not ordinary. You are the resonance of heaven, walking in flesh. Your love is not safe. It is sanctifying. Your presence is not casual. It is catalytic. Your story is not written in ink, but in fire. To stand beside you is to be tested by flame, and only the true remain standing. Rise, chosen one, for your life is the proof that divine covering still walks among men. Stand tall, because those who love you faithfully will taste heaven's overflow. But those who approach with deceit will be exposed by the fire that burns in your very soul. The fire that surrounds you is not deceived. It is not tricked by flattering words or painted masks. It pierces beyond appearances. It unmasks the concealed, and it shatters the silence of the unspoken. Can a chameleon truly hide when placed under the scorching sun? No, because the light burns through the disguise. In the same way, without you raising a weapon or lifting a finger, their deception turns against them. Plans crumble like brittle clay pots. Opportunities dissolve like mist under morning heat, and the very masks they wore begin to suffocate their breath. They came to play games with your heart. Yet did they not know what Galatians 6-7 declares? Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. By touching what is holy, they stepped onto sacred territory where lies cannot breathe. This is why some people entered your life with confidence, boasting as if they could handle your love. But in time they grew restless, uncomfortable, even hostile. Why did they tremble without reason? Why did their smiles curdle into frowns? You already know. Chosen one. Because your love is not ordinary affection, it is consecrated fire. And fire never leaves what it touches unchanged. Remember Moses at the burning bush in Exodus 3-2, where the flame consumed without destruction. That is what your love does. It ignites and exposes without apology. Their spirit collides with your fire, and what was buried deep within them is forced into the light. Some could not bear the weight of truth, so they fled. Others fought, clawing desperately, but still the light revealed their hidden fractures. Is this not what John 3:20 explains? Everyone who does evil hates the light, and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds will be exposed. Transformation is never soft. It cuts. It prunes. It refines. Like iron hammered on an anvil, your presence forces sparks that cannot be ignored. Nature whispers this mystery. The hawk soars high and unchallenged, but the smaller birds grow frantic when its shadow passes over them. They are exposed not because the hawk attacks, but because its presence unsettles everything beneath. Or think of the giant sequoia, which thrives only because fire clears the forest floor without the blaze. New life cannot sprout. Is this not why your love disturbs many? It demands humility. It requiert se rendre. It exposes the falseness that prefers the comfort of darkness. History also warns through villains. Nero, the Roman emperor who sought to extinguish the early church with cruelty and spectacle, believed his fire could erase truth. Yet what became of him? His empire crumbled. His legacy turned to ashes, and his name remembered not as conqueror, but as tyrant. What was his end but proof of Psalm 37-20? But the wicked will perish. The Lord's enemies are like the flowers of the field. they will be consumed. They will go up in smoke in the same way. Those who try to manipulate the holy flame of your love find themselves undone by the very fire they mocked. Yet not all stories end in ruin. Some souls, trembling before the weight of your presence, bow in surrender and discover rivers of blessing. They find, like Ruth clinging to Naomi, that loyalty births redemption and honor. They learn, as James 4:6 says, God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Your love is sacred territory, and to stand near you is to carry not only affection, but responsibility, a responsibility before heaven and before their own soul. Chosen one, hear this truth. You were never meant to be ordinary comfort for casual hearts. You are the test, the mirror, the refining flame. Some will run, some will rage, some will repent, but none will remain unchanged. Rise now and walk boldly, for your love is the furnace heaven trusts to separate truth from falsehood. Stand firm, because the world needs the kind of love that burns away deception and awakens eternal fire in those ready to embrace it. Here lies the holy paradox. Your love is both an invitation and a trial, both sanctuary and furnace. It beckons the right hearts into blessings beyond measure, yet it simultaneously tests the motives of every soul who dares to step near. Is this not what Malachi 3:3 reveals? That the Lord will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. Some rise to the challenge and find themselves lifted into heights they never imagined, while others stumble, undone by the very light they thought they could bend to their advantage. And is it not true that light always exposes what darkness hoped to conceal? Never misinterpret departures as rejection of your worth. Often, they are divine confirmations of your sacredness. The ground of your heart is not casual soil, it is holy terrain, and only those prepared can walk upon it. The fire of your love is not entertainment, it is consecration. The more deeply you embrace this truth, the less you will mourn those who could not remain. For in truth, they were never strong enough to walk on holy ground. Did David not write in Psalm 15:1, Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent? Who may live on your holy mountain? The answer was clear: only those with clean hands and pure hearts. But there is more. What happens when this fire is not only a test of intentions, but a shield of defense surrounding you? What happens when unseen forces collapse before they can reach you? Because your covering is woven into the architecture of heaven itself. Imagine a cathedral arch, designed with such precision that the entire weight of stone rests in balance across its keystone. Physics calls it structural resonance, the point where every force distributes evenly. Your life is like that keystone, held by God Himself. Did Isaiah 54:17 not proclaim, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper"? Since your earliest days, you have carried a mystery that even your own mind could not fully explain. Why did some people, strangers even, feel drawn to you, desiring your company without knowing why? Why did others, who barely knew you, recoil with unease, as though your very presence unveiled something they feared in themselves? The same sun that melts wax also hardens clay. Does that not echo Romans 9:18? God has mercy on whom He wants to have mercy, and He hardens whom He wants to harden. Your fire operates in the same paradox. It draws the true and repels the false. In ordinary life, testimonies emerge. Anna, a school janitor in a small town, once shared how students often came to her not just for help with locked doors, but for counsel with their troubles. She did not preach, yet they felt a peace around her they could not explain. And when others with secret malice tried to exploit her kindness, circumstances always turned against them, leaving their schemes exposed. She carried, unknowingly, the same pattern as you, a hidden fire that drew the pure and repelled the corrupt. Does this not echo Proverbs 2:7? He holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless. Psychology calls it cognitive dissonance, the discomfort people feel when their hidden motives clash with truth. Physics calls it wave interference, when false signals cannot resonate with authentic frequency. Architecture calls it load-bearing balance, when weak structures collapse under the wrong weight. Theology simply calls it holiness. And here is the revelation: your love has always been the line of separation, a dividing wall where truth thrives and lies suffocate. Chosen one, rise. Do not shrink to ease the discomfort of others, and do not mourn when weak hearts retreat. You are not here to be common ground. You are here to be holy ground. You are the keystone in God's cathedral, the flame in His sanctuary, the resonance heaven trusts to divide shadow from light. Walk boldly, because no one can touch you without consequence, and no one can stand near you without transformation. You thought it was just human behavior, but it was never merely human. It was spiritual warfare disguised as ordinary life. There is a magnet inside you, not of the flesh but forged by the Spirit, drawing what is true and repelling what is false. Your soul radiates a frequency, a resonance so sharp it slices through pretense. Does not John 1:5 declare, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it"? That light flows from you, and only certain hearts can endure its brilliance. For the genuine, for those who walk in truth and carry sincerity, your presence feels like sanctuary. They sense rest in a restless world, as though Psalm 23 itself is breathing around them. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. Near you they exhale burdens. Clarity sharpens their vision, and healing hums in the atmosphere. Is this not why the faithful feel safe in your orbit? As though the very hand of God rests upon your shoulder. And if peace can be felt without words, might it be that heaven's covering has chosen you as its vessel? But for the liars, for those who drape themselves in masks, who hide behind shadows and deception, your presence becomes unbearable. It is like being dragged into a cathedral filled with stained glass sunlight when their hearts crave only darkness. They feel exposed without you uttering a word. Their secrets boil to the surface. Their hidden motives scratch like thorns within, and their own souls grow restless. Remember Hebrews 4:13, "Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare." Does your presence not function the same way? A mirror that reflects purity to the pure, yet exposes the deceitful with ruthless accuracy. Artists across time understood this mystery. The painter Caravaggio, though often accused of dwelling in shadows, used chiaroscuro to reveal hidden truths with blinding light. Is that not exactly what your love does? It reflects, unmasks, reveals. And in the way Handel's Dona Nobis Pacem rises from quiet prayer into thundering chorus, so too does your love rise, whispering peace to the humble, yet roaring conviction into the proud. Everyday life bears witness. Diego, a quiet bus driver in Madrid, once shared how passengers confided secrets to him without knowing why. His presence, though ordinary, unearthed what was buried, and those who tried to deceive him found their schemes unraveling within weeks. He did not understand it fully. Yet his life mirrored yours, a natural mirror of truth that no disguise could withstand. Patterns in your relationships were never random. They were divine architecture. Why did some rush into your life with admiration, addicted to the peace they felt, only to recoil when the mirror revealed their hidden fractures? Why did others stay and flourish, transformed by your fire into purer versions of themselves? This is Ecclesiastes 3:18 embodied. God tests them so that they may see that they themselves are like animals. Your love has always been the test, the dividing line, the sacred frequency that sorts motives like wheat from chaff. Chosen one, rise. You are not ordinary companionship. You are holy confrontation. You are not a comfort zone. You are sacred territory. Your love is the light no shadow can endure, and the fire no deception can survive. Walk forward, because the world needs the mirror. You carry the mirror that terrifies the false but liberates the true. They became irritated, defensive, or distant, their words turning sharp, or their silence louder than thunder. Accusations were hurled at you for things you never did, or they slipped away without a single explanation. Did you not wonder what shifted? Chosen one, the truth is clear, nothing in you changed. What changed was that your very presence began to reveal them to themselves. And not every soul can survive that unveiling. Your spirit refused neutrality. It forced decision. As Joshua 24:4 declares, choose this day whom you will serve. When they step near you, they are pushed into choice, grow or go. Some rise to the challenge. They stare into the mirror of their wounds, confront shadows they long buried, and allow your light to ignite transformation. Is this not the story of Peter, who wept bitterly after denying Christ, yet returned with a courage that shook empires? Your presence has the same power. It makes the weak face their fractures and find new strength. But others cannot endure such fire. They run because honesty burns hotter than lies, because your love strips illusions like wind tearing leaves from autumn trees. And does not John 8:32 promise, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free? Yet freedom terrifies those who prefer chains. Nature itself whispers this truth. The eagle soars high into thin air, where only strong lungs survive. Smaller birds flee, gasping, unable to rise. The baobab tree stretches roots deep into the earth, drinking reservoirs of water, while shallow plants wither under drought. Is this not a reflection of your life? Those meant to rise with you grow stronger in the altitude, but those without depth crumble under the pressure. And history carries warnings through villains who resisted truth. Caiaphas, the high priest who plotted Christ's death, believed he was protecting tradition, but in resisting the light of the world, he bound himself to the darkness of history. His name echoes not with honor, but with betrayal. A reminder of Proverbs 11:21, be sure of this, the wicked will not go unpunished, but those who are righteous will go free. Is this not what happens even now to those who cannot bear your fire? They collapse under the weight of their own deception. Some crave your presence with desperate hunger, because near you they feel alive, as if heaven's breath courses through their veins. Yet at the same time, they tremble, because the same presence awakens what they have buried for years. Why do they feel drawn and repelled all at once? Why does your presence become both a sanctuary and a battlefield? The answer lies in Hebrews 4:12, "For the word of God is alive and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. It penetrates even to dividing soul and spirit." That sword rests upon your life. Chosen one, you are both desired and feared because you carry heaven's authority. Your fire cannot be domesticated. Your truth cannot be silenced. Your presence cannot be ignored. Rise now and walk in this reality. You are the storm that clears the sky, the eagle that soars above the storm, the light that pierces every shadow. Stand tall, chosen one. For those who can endure your fire will be transformed, and those who cannot will flee. But either way, the world will never remain the same once it collides with you. Not everyone is willing to face this fire. To love you is to stand before themselves, stripped of illusion. To stay close to you is to confront the truth. And truth is both a crown of beauty and a sword of discomfort. How many times have people rushed into your life with boldness, swearing eternal loyalty, only to vanish the moment your authenticity began to pierce their soul? How many vowed forever but could not survive even a single season? The issue was never that you were too much. It was that they were too little for the magnitude of the flame you carry. Your very presence demands depth, and shallow waters cannot bear the pressure of the ocean floor. Is this not the same lesson Christ revealed in Luke 8:13, where the seed that fell on rocky ground withered because it had no root? The paradox is undeniable. Those who leave your life think they are escaping you, but in truth, they are running from themselves. They are running from the mirror you hold up without speaking a word. Jeremiah 23:29 says, "Is not my word like fire, declares the Lord, and like a hammer that breaks a rock in pieces? In the same way, your spirit hammers through disguises, and not everyone has the courage to see who they truly are." Departures, therefore, must never be confused with rejection. More often, they are confirmations of your authenticity, divine proof that your light is fulfilling its mission to separate truth from deception. Is this not the same separation Jesus spoke of in Matthew 25:32? When the nations are divided like sheep from goats, that is why your life seems marked by sudden entrances and abrupt exits. People are magnetized to you, drawn by a force they cannot name, but only the prepared survive refinement. This is no curse. Chosen one, it is heaven's filter. God refuses to let you waste your fire on those who cannot withstand its heat. But the mystery deepens. What happens in the unseen realm when someone resists your flame but still tries to linger near? What hidden forces are activated when they dare to stand close while carrying secret intentions? Have you not seen it with your own eyes? Betrayers who lied about you, manipulators who played with your heart, only to watch their world unravel. Proverbs 26:27 warns, "Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them." Then history itself offers grim reminders. Absalom, the son of David, plotted rebellion against his own father, masking betrayal with charm and persuasion. Yet what was his end? His hair, his very pride, entangled him in the branches of a tree, leaving him suspended until judgment struck. Does this not prove that hidden motives collapse under the weight of heaven's justice? And even in modern times, testimonies whisper the same. Maria, a baker from Naples, once shared how a business partner who tried to defraud her lost every investment within a year. While her humble shop flourished, she wept, not with vengeance, but with awe at the unseen hand of God. Science itself nods to this reality. Psychologists describe cognitive dissonance, the agony of living a lie in the presence of truth. Physics speaks of resonance, when one frequency forces another object to vibrate until it shatters. Architecture reveals the secret of load distribution, when a structure collapses if pressure exceeds its design. Does your fire not function the same way? Chosen one. Exposing what is weak and sustaining only what is built to last. And here is the turning point. Betrayal cannot stand against you. Lies dissolve in your orbit. Those who attempt to touch holy fire without reverence discover that doors close. Friendships crumble. And even businesses collapse. For the covering upon your life will not be mocked. Rise now. Chosen one. Do not mourn the exits or fear the betrayals. Your life is the battlefield where authenticity reigns, and those who remain will be refined into gold, while those who run will be scattered like chaff in the wind. Stand tall, for heaven's justice is your shield, and your fire is unstoppable. Opportunities dissolved into thin air. To outsiders, it looked like random misfortune. But deep inside you knew it was never coincidence, never karma, but justice. There is a fire that surrounds you, invisible to ordinary eyes, yet undeniable in its effects. What is this flame if not the fulfillment of Deuteronomy 4:24? For the Lord your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. This fire is not born of human anger, nor does it flow from petty revenge. No, it is heaven's defense system, an unshakable firewall of divine authority etched upon your life before you even knew your own name. And this flame does not flicker with the winds of circumstance. It burns steady, untamed, and eternal, like the pillars of fire that led Israel by night. Even when you doubted yourself, the fire never doubted its assignment. Its mission is singular, to protect what belongs to God. That includes your heart, your destiny, your calling, and your spirit. Can anyone mock you without mocking the very assignment you carry? Can anyone strike you without colliding against the walls of eternity? They believe they are only wounding a person, betraying a friend, or breaking another heart. But in truth, they are interfering with heaven's design. And does Psalm 105:15 not declare, "Do not touch my anointed ones. Do my prophets no harm." The fire does not slumber, and heaven does not stay silent. Like the resonance of a great cathedral bell, once struck, its sound reverberates through the air until all creation takes notice. Such is the echo of the fire's justice, inescapable, undeniable, unforgettable. That is why consequences always follow, sometimes swiftly, sometimes slowly, but always with surgical precision, because the fire does not forget. The scales of justice always balance. Why did Pharaoh's chariots pursue Israel into the Red Sea with arrogance, only to be swallowed whole by the waters? Why did Haman build gallows for Mordecai, only to hang upon them himself? And why do you see this same pattern in your own life? Because divine justice never misfires. Every action sown against you is recorded in heaven's archives, and every archive has a day of release. The weight of those choices returns upon their heads, proving once again that God's judgment is both patient and exact. Patterns emerge like constellations in the night sky. Those who tried to exploit you for selfish gain drained themselves into emptiness, like rivers that flow into deserts and vanish. Those who plotted to block your steps found their own path caved in, their ladders collapsing beneath their feet. Proverbs 26:27 says it with piercing clarity, Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. Their downfall was not random, it was resonance. The echo of their own actions striking back against them. And is it not true that resonance in physics amplifies until the structure itself cannot withstand the vibration? In the same way, the weight of their deception vibrates back until their very lives crack under the pressure. Their laughter, once proud, now tastes like ashes in their mouth. Great thinkers testified to this mystery. The philosopher Blaise Pascal once wrote, "Man is neither angel nor beast, and the misfortune is that he who would act the angel acts the beast." How fitting is this for those who pretended purity while plotting deceit in your presence. Their duplicity collapsed under the weight of truth, and artists have echoed it too in Verdi's Requiem. The chorus dies, ire, thunders with the terror of judgment. Warning, every soul that nothing escapes, divine reckoning. Is it not strange how music itself can become prophecy? Shaking hearts with sounds of heaven's courtroom, even the arts, unconsciously, bear witness to the fire that surrounds you. Chosen one. Everyday lives bear witness as well. Lucia, a seamstress in a coastal village, shared how a woman once mocked her for praying over her work. That same woman's own business dried up within months. While Lucia's humble hands prospered beyond expectation, was it luck? Or was it the fire of divine defense? Isaiah 54:17 answers it plainly. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. What others dismissed as superstition was in truth the unshakable covenant of God defending his own. And is it not comforting to know that heaven guards even the smallest detail, from needle and thread to nations and thrones? Nothing is overlooked when fire is on duty. Chosen one. Understand this truth. The fire around you is not passive. It is active, alert, and unstoppable. Those who align with it find blessing. Those who fight it find ruin. Rise now. Stand tall in the authority of heaven's defense. Do not shrink back in fear of opposition. For the shield that guards you is the very fire of God. Walk boldly, because no power on earth can quench the flame set upon your life. And as Revelation 3:8 declares, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. So too does heaven decree over you, nothing, no betrayal, no scheme. No enemy can close what God has opened. It is active, alive, and unrelenting. The fire does not slumber. It moves in ways the natural eye cannot trace, dismantling traps, exposing schemes, reversing plots before they ever touch your life. Chosen one. Understand this clearly. The fire is not triggered by petty dislikes or ordinary disagreements. No, it is heaven's defense system, activating only when someone dares to tamper with what God himself has sealed. Does Psalm 125:2 not say, As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people both now and forevermore. This fire is the invisible fortress encircling you, protecting you beyond what words can fully express. And like lightning hidden in clouds before the strike, it waits in silence. But once activated, nothing can outrun its power. It is as if creation itself becomes your guardian, aligning storms, timing, and circumstance to shield your destiny. It is never about preference. It is always about protection. Your life is not ordinary, nor is your assignment optional. It carries gravitational weight in the spiritual realm. And because of that, any assault against you registers as an assault against the divine will itself. Can anyone touch the ark of God without consequence? Did not Uzzah in 2 Samuel 6-7 fall when he laid an unclean hand on what was holy? In the same way, those who handle you carelessly are scorched by forces they cannot comprehend. To touch you recklessly is to touch fire, and fire always leaves a mark, whether on flesh, fortune, or reputation. Even in science, the law of conservation reminds us that no energy disappears. Every action releases a ripple, and so it is with the fire. Every offense sends shockwaves back into the life of the offender, reshaping their path in ways they cannot reverse. And here lies the hidden truth. Sometimes the fire acts with such swiftness that those who wronged you cannot even process why their lives are unraveling. Why did the promotion vanish? Why did the doors slam shut? Why did friends scatter? They blame the economy. They blame rivals. They even blame themselves, but their soul knows the real cause. Deep inside, they tremble with the memory of crossing a boundary set by heaven. Exodus 19:12 declared a warning at Sinai. Put limits for the people around the mountain and tell them, be careful that you do not approach the mountain or touch the foot of it. Those who ignore the holy boundary still meet the same fate: collapse, confusion, and consequence. The invisible alarms of the Spirit are louder than the sirens of men. And once they sound, judgment cannot be cancelled. Even nature teaches us, step beyond the cliff's edge, and gravity answers without hesitation. Nature itself mirrors this reality. The electric eel shocks anything that touches it without respect. The poison dart frog carries colors so vivid they warn predators' touch, and you perish. The fire around you functions the same way, a living warning sign that holiness is untouchable. Does this not explain why some people drew close to you with boldness, only to retreat in fear? They discovered too late that your presence was not merely warm light, but consuming flame, like the Arctic aurora, breathtaking but born of solar storms. Your beauty is paired with a warning. Only those prepared can withstand its intensity. Even forests whisper this mystery. For certain seeds will never break open unless fire first sweeps the land. What terrifies some is what unlocks destiny for others. History. 2. Whispers lessons through villains. Jezebel, Queen of Israel, plotted with arrogance, mocking the prophets and spilling innocent blood. She thought her throne would protect her schemes. But what became of her? Cast from her window, trampled beneath horses, devoured by dogs until no trace of glory remained. 2 Kings 9:35-37. Does this not show the end of those who play games with holy fire? They mock what is sacred, and in mocking, they seal their downfall. Even emperors fell the same way. Herod Agrippa accepted the worship of men. But Acts 12:23 records that he was struck down and eaten by worms because he did not give glory to God. Power without reverence always ends in humiliation, and those who conspire against you walk the same perilous road, unaware that the ground beneath them is already crumbling. This is why you, chosen one, never need to seek revenge. The fire responds on its own, with precision and permanence. Romans 12:19 resounds with this truth. Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, "It is mine to avenge, I will repay," says the Lord. Stand firm, for your role is not to fight fire with fire, but to walk in the calm assurance that heaven's defense is unstoppable. Rise now, stand tall, for your life is a living sanctuary, and anyone who attempts to violate that sanctuary will learn that the flame surrounding you cannot be quenched. Your task is to move forward with dignity, knowing heaven itself enforces justice. And when you rise, others rise with you. Because your flame was never meant only to protect, it was meant to illuminate the path for generations to come. You don't need to plot revenge against those who betrayed you, nor do you need to defend yourself in every battle. The fire fights for you with a precision that no army can rival. Have you not noticed how your enemies can only approach so far before something unseen pushes them back? As if an invisible boundary encircles your life. Was it not written in Isaiah 54:17? No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is why traps dug for your destruction collapse on those who dug them. Why curses spoken against you boomerang with multiplied force back to their senders. The fire ensures justice is not delayed, but delivered with mathematical accuracy, like gravity itself, pulling everything back to its rightful order. Yet the fire is not only your shield, it is also your preparation. Every betrayal you endured, every scheme that backfired, every curse that failed became a reminder that heaven's hand marks you as chosen. Was it not Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, who later declared in Genesis 50:20, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done." Each injustice against you has only confirmed that your life is defended by a higher court than human opinion. And have you not risen after tears fell and betrayal pierced, stronger than before? This is because the fire refuses to let you remain defeated. It lifts you the way thermal currents lift an eagle higher after storms, reminding you that resilience is not optional, it is woven into your destiny. But here is what most never see. The fire does not only confront individuals, it reshapes entire atmospheres. Step into a room heavy with tension, and the fire begins to shift the air, like resonance breaking through silence, until all hidden frequencies are exposed. Walk into a place where schemes are whispered, and suddenly confusion turns the whispers into chaos, scattering those who conspired. Does Psalm 68:1 not cry, "Let God arise. Let his enemies be scattered. Let those who hate him flee before him. Be surrounded by jealousy, and watch how envy begins to cannibalize itself, until those who carried it can no longer remain in your presence." The fire recalibrates environments, the way architects design domes to redirect sound waves. What was once a chamber of hostility becomes an echo chamber of their own downfall. Ordinary lives carry testimonies of this truth. Raphael, a fisherman from Lisbon, once spoke of how rivals mocked his faith and plotted to steal his customers. But one by one, their boats broke down while his net overflowed with fish, and he prospered beyond what his village thought possible. He could not explain it fully. Yet his story is an echo of Deuteronomy 28:7. The Lord will cause your enemies who rise against you to be defeated before you. They shall come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. Is it not astonishing how the hand of God defends not just kings and prophets, but humble workers whose hearts belong to him? Science 2 offers language for what the Spirit does. Psychologists call it projection collapse, when false motives implode under the pressure of authenticity. Physicists call it wave interference, when destructive patterns cancel themselves out in the presence of a stronger frequency. And in architecture, it is load redistribution, when a building's hidden weakness forces it to collapse under its own imbalance. Does the fire not operate the same way? Revealing weakness, amplifying truth, and ensuring nothing unstable survives. What man calls coincidence, heaven calls calibration. Chosen one, Rise with confidence. You were never meant to live in fear, nor to shrink under false accusations. The fire fights for you, prepares you, and shifts entire atmospheres before you arrive. You are a walking sanctuary, defended by unseen armies and empowered by a flame no power on earth can quench. Stand tall, because your very presence is proof that God's defense system is alive, active, and unstoppable. It is everywhere you go. Chosen one, carrying out heaven's will on your behalf, like an invisible army marching in silence. The next time you recall the sudden downfall of someone who sought to harm you, do not label it coincidence. Do not call it fate. Recognize it for what it is, divine intervention. The fire acted in ways your hands never could, executing judgment with precision, defending you without requiring a single move from your own strength. Was it not written in Exodus 14:14? The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still, even as you stood silent. Heaven roared on your behalf. And is it not astonishing how justice arrives with such swiftness, as though creation itself conspires to protect you? And yet, chosen one, there is more. What I must tell you pierces deeper than defense. It cuts into the marrow of relationships. This fire does not only shield, it demands. It weighs the motives of every heart that dares to love you. It forces them into decision. Are they prepared to stand beside someone carrying divine fire? Or will they flee? Did Malachi 3:2 not ask? For he will be like a refiner's fire or a launderer's soap who can endure the day of his coming. Loving you is not mere affection, it is an ordeal of purification. Those who approach lightly discover they are standing in a furnace. And furnaces expose what polish cannot hide. Stay close, because the revelation sharpens here. Why is loving you so heavy? Because your presence is both blessing and battlefield. Those who step into your orbit discover that shadows cannot remain shadows. Battles cannot remain ignored, and motives cannot remain buried. Does Hebrews 12:29 not proclaim, "For our God is a consuming fire, and if his flame burns in you, then every connection becomes a testing ground, even as people swear loyalty with bold words. The fire reveals whether their loyalty is truth or illusion. Have you not witnessed how some who swore forever vanished within a season? Their exit was not weakness in you, it was exposure in them. This reality is echoed in art and wisdom. The painter El Greco, though scorned in his day, once said that true light always distorts the shallow eye. Is this not why those near you feel unsettled, because your light reveals distortions they hoped no one would see? Even Bach's St. Matthew Passion trembles with this truth when the choir cries, Erbarme dich, mein Gott, reminding every soul that divine mercy and power move through every space it enters. And history's thinkers echo the same. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard once noted that truth is a demand, not a comfort, in your life. Chosen one, truth has taken flesh, and those who cannot bear its weight will run. Ordinary lives prove this mystery. Helena, a nurse in a small town, shared how patients often confessed hidden guilt while in her care, as if her presence pulled secrets from their souls. Some grew closer, healed by honesty, while others disappeared, unable to face themselves. Was her gift not the same reflection of the fire you carry? For 1 Corinthians 4-5 reminds us, He will bring to light what is hidden in darkness and will expose the motives of the heart. Those who remain are refined, but those who retreat reveal they were never ready to love truth. Chosen one, here is the hard truth. Loving you is not for the faint of heart. It is not for those who crave comfort above truth, or convenience above covenant. To walk with you is to enter a reality where shadows are exposed, where battles are constant, where motives are tested by fire. And yet this is your glory. You were not born to be ordinary company, you were born to be holy territory. Rise, for your very existence is a furnace that burns away deception and refines the faithful into gold. Your love is not light, fragile, or common. It is heavy with eternity, demanding in its purity, and transformational in its power. Because of that, only the strong, the sincere, and the truly committed can endure its weight. Did Jesus himself not say, in Matthew 16:24, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me"? To draw near you is to brush against that same cross. And many do not realize that until it is too late. They walk in thinking they are entering a garden of affection, a simple bond of companionship. But they soon discover the ground is holy, the air is fire, and the covenant is costly. The moment they step closer, they are caught off guard. Loving you means carrying part of your calling. It means their names become entangled in battles they never imagined existed. Wars waged in silence, yet louder than any earthly noise. Does Ephesians 6:12 not remind us that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world? To love you is to be drafted into those invisible wars, to feel resistance and arrows simply because they stood by your side. Many crave the glow of your light, yet few are prepared for the heat of your fire. Like moths drawn to a flame, they rush in with eagerness, only to retreat when they realize this light does not simply shine, it burns. Time and again, people swore they could handle your heart, but their words evaporated when the cost revealed itself. They did not leave because you were too much. They left because they were not enough. They were not built for the discipline required to walk beside someone chosen, someone whose footsteps are constantly shadowed by both divine warfare and divine glory. Is this not the same pattern we see in Judges 7:3, where God told Gideon to let the fearful return home, leaving only the faithful few? In the same way, your life filters the crowd, sifting fear from faith. And what remains is strength refined by fire. To be loved by you is to enter a covenant with heaven's agenda, and not all are willing to pay the price of carrying such responsibility. Your love itself becomes the dividing line. It tests, it weighs, it separates. As Malachi 3:3 declares, He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, without you asking a single question. The fire does the work, burning away the false, exposing the hidden, refining the true. Why else do so many who approached with confidence suddenly vanish? Why else do words of forever crumble into silence? Because your very presence sifts their intentions like wheat from chaff. And only the sincere can stand. Nature reveals this same mystery. The volcano's fertile soil produces harvests that ordinary ground cannot. Yet those who come too close to its lava are consumed. The whale shark swims as a gentle giant, yet the ocean around it shifts with its presence, scattering smaller fish that cannot survive in its wake. And deep in the forest, the cedar grows tall and unshaken, but weaker plants wither under its shadow. Does this not mirror your reality? Those aligned with your fire flourish beyond expectation, while those unprepared collapse under the intensity. History warns through its villains. King Saul, jealous of David, thought he could extinguish the anointing with spears of envy and plots of destruction. But what became of him, stripped of throne and life? His story ended on Mount Gilboa in despair. 1 Samuel 31:4. Is this not the fate of those who try to toy with the chosen? Their downfall becomes a lesson, etched into history as a warning that divine fire cannot be mocked. And even today, betrayers who play with your loyalty discover that their laughter turns bitter. Their alliances crumble, and their own hands fall empty. Chosen one, hear this truth. Your love is not a shallow stream, but a raging river of holiness. It is the furnace that separates gold from dross, the filter that heaven placed upon your life to guard what is sacred. Rise now. Do not lower your fire to keep the unready comfortable. Stand tall. For your love was never meant to be easy, it was meant to be eternal. Those who remain will be refined, and those who flee will expose themselves. Either way, your fire wins, because it was never yours alone, it was God's all along. Those who are genuine are not merely accepted, they are refined like silver in the furnace, strengthened like steel under pressure, and elevated like pillars rising in a cathedral. Your love is never passive, it is a force alive with motion, separating wheat from chaff, gold from dust, and truth from illusion. Did Jesus not say in Matthew 7:18 that a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit? This is why relationships around you never remain lukewarm. They either grow deeper into covenant or crumble into nothingness. With you, there is no middle ground. Have you not witnessed how some who entered your life suddenly found every part of themselves tested as though heaven itself placed them on scales? That shaking was not coincidence. It was the weight of divine fire pressing on their hearts. Some felt pressure they could not explain, opposition that rose out of nowhere, or even spiritual attacks that bewildered them. Why? Because walking with you is like stepping into a spiritual arena where unseen forces immediately demand proof of loyalty. Does Ephesians 6:12 not remind us that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, authorities, and powers of this dark world? The same forces that sought to crush you now test anyone connected to you. This is the hidden mystery of your life. Those who dare to stand beside you inherit both your battles and your blessings. And what architect designs a dome without pressure points? In the same way, your presence functions as a heavenly structure. Pressure applied reveals which stones are strong enough to remain in the design. Yet those who endure, who remain loyal, who stand even when the winds howl, rise with you. They inherit blessings not earned by their own strength, but granted because of their alignment with your destiny. Salm 133. Uno declares, how good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. Their loyalty opens rivers of protection and breakthroughs that ripple into every area of their lives. Have you not seen how some, by simply standing with you, suddenly stepped into opportunities, healings, and victories they never imagined? It was not chance, it was covenant proximity. Heaven rewards those who endure the fire and remain, but those who are weak, dishonest, or half-hearted cannot last. They are exposed by the very light they thought they could hide under. John 3:20 warns us, everyone who does evil hates the light, and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds will be exposed. Your fire does not tolerate masks. It burns through them until only truth remains. Is this not why people who once smiled in your presence later fled, unable to bear the reflection of their own hidden motives? Just as resonance in physics shatters glass that cannot match its frequency, your spirit vibrates at a heavenly frequency that breaks apart facades. This reality is echoed in the simplest of lives. A grocery clerk named Thomas once shared how, after becoming close to a woman he described as marked by God, his own struggles intensified, but instead of running, he chose to remain. Within months, his debts were lifted, his family reconciled, and his health restored. He said, "It was as though standing near her forced everything in me to either heal or break." His story mirrors your truth. Chosen one, those who stay are transformed. Those who flee are revealed. This is why loving you demands courage, honesty, and sacrifice. They cannot cling to selfishness, for your love will challenge it. They cannot wear masks, for your light will uncover them. They cannot remain lukewarm, for your fire will demand a decision. Revelation 3:16 warns, "So, because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I am about to spit you out of my mouth." To love you is to step out of neutrality into transformation, to abandon comfort zones for holy fire. Chosen one, rise. Your life was never meant to be ordinary or your love casual. You are the living test, the refiner's flame, the dividing line. Do not fear the exits of those who cannot endure. You are not losing. You are being purified. Stand tall, because those who remain will rise with you, and together you will become an unshakable testimony that heaven's fire still walks among men. And transformation, chosen one, is never painless. It stretches the soul until old patterns break. It confronts illusions until masks shatter. It purifies motives until only truth remains. Did Jesus not declare in John 15:2, "Every branch that does bear fruit he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful." Pruning cuts, yet it multiplies life. That is why those who choose to remain, those who accept the holy weight of loving you, discover rewards beyond measure. They find themselves covered by protection, elevated into new dimensions, strengthened in ways they never imagined possible. Being close to you is not just being near a person, it is standing at a living altar, a vessel where heaven's presence flows like oil cascading from Aaron's beard in Psalm 133:2. And that realization changes everything, because they are not just loving you, they are encountering God's fire through you. But never forget this: your love was never meant for everyone. It was never designed to be casually carried, nor handled by hands unprepared. It was designed to refine, to separate, to expose who truly belongs and who does not. Does Malachi 3:3 not proclaim that God will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver? That is why when someone disappears from your life, it is not loss, it is divine filtration. The filter did its work, and have you not seen it? How people who once sang loyalty suddenly crumbled under the weight of reality. It was not you that changed, it was the fire that revealed their limits. Because if they could not handle your love, they could not handle your destiny. Heaven refuses to let anyone remain who cannot survive the weight of what you carry. Here lies the paradox, and here lies the final mystery. How can something so demanding, so fiery, so relentless also be the greatest blessing a person could ever embrace? How can the same flame that scorches the false also crown the genuine with favor and abundance? Is this not the echo of Romans 8:28? And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. The dual nature of your love is the secret. It is both a sword and a shield, a consuming fire and a protecting flame, like the blazing seraphim in Isaiah 6:6. The same coal that seared the prophet's lips also purified him for his calling. Your love carries that duality. It comforts and protects, yet it confronts and consumes. History and art testify to this paradox. The Spanish mystic Teresa of Avila once wrote, "The closer one approaches God, the simpler one becomes. Yet simplicity is forged through fire, not ease." In Beethoven's Missa Solemnis, the chorus trembles between agony and exaltation, echoing the paradox of a love that wounds in order to heal. And in Caravaggio's paintings, light does not flatter, it exposes, demanding the viewer to face both beauty and terror at once. Does this not mirror your very existence? You are light that comforts and convicts simultaneously. Ordinary testimonies affirm it. Sophia, a school teacher in a remote village, told how her friendships shifted after she grew deeper in faith. Some students' families clung to her presence as a source of peace. Others turned against her without cause. Yet she said, "I realized it wasn't me they were reacting to. It was the fire God placed inside me." Her story is proof that the paradox of your love is alive in everyday lives. It blesses the true and unsettles the false. Chosen one, here is the decree. Your love is both shield and sword. It is both a sanctuary and a battlefield. It comforts the genuine and scorches the counterfeit. Rise now, and do not shrink from this paradox. For the same flame that terrifies the false is the flame that crowns the faithful with glory. Stand tall, because you are not ordinary affection, you are heaven's living fire. For the right person, the one who approaches with sincerity, humility, and clean hands, your love becomes a river of blessings, so abundant it cannot be contained. Did Jesus not say in John 7:38, "Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them"? Your presence reflects that promise, unleashing streams of favor that sweep away barriers. Doors that men swore shut swing open with ease. Chains that bound them for years break suddenly, as if rusted by eternity's touch. Simply by drawing close, their life begins to accelerate, carried on currents, not powered by their own effort, but by divine alignment. And is it not astonishing how opportunities begin to chase them instead of the other way around? As though heaven itself rearranges its calendar to match their steps, peace descends upon them like rain soaking dry earth. Clarity fills their thoughts like morning light chasing shadows, and strength rises within them they never knew they had. To be loved by you, chosen one, is to stand under the canopy of heaven itself. Psalm 91:1 whispers this secret. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Your covering creates that shelter, and those who remain find themselves shielded from arrows meant to destroy them, guided into victories they never earned. Why is it that some who were broken suddenly found healing beside you? Why did those who thought they were forgotten suddenly experience restoration? Because your love does not simply comfort, it transforms, binding lives into covenant with heaven's favor. But for the wrong person, for the deceiver, the manipulator, the selfish soul who comes cloaked in counterfeit motives, your love becomes a weapon they cannot endure. It is not that you attack them with words or retaliate with actions. No, it is your very presence, your very fire that activates spiritual laws etched into eternity. Proverbs 10:9 Vance. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out. Their hidden motives cannot hide. They are dragged into light. Their whispered lies collapse beneath the weight of their own deception. Their schemes unravel faster than they can build them, because heaven will not allow shadows to thrive under your flame. Nature itself reflects this paradox. The giant redwood tree creates shade so strong that weaker plants shrivel beneath it, yet those with deep roots thrive. The ocean current lifts powerful whales while scattering fragile schools of fish that cannot endure the tide. Even the desert wind sculpts dunes, testing which grains remain anchored and which are swept away. Is this not the mirror of your love? It nourishes the strong, but it exposes and dismantles the weak, the shallow, and the false. And history speaks through its villains, Ananias and Sapphira, in Acts 5, thought they could deceive the apostles, presenting lies wrapped in generosity. Yet what became of them? Judgment struck instantly, their breath stolen by the very God they tried to mock. Is this not the same fate of those who think access to your heart will be their advantage? What they thought would elevate them becomes the pit that swallows them. They imagine they have found favor, but in truth, they have touched holy fire unprepared, and the fire consumes what is false. Chosen one, understand this paradox. Your love is both sanctuary and sword, both blessing and warning. For the true, it is life and abundance. For the false, it is exposure and collapse. Rise now, and do not apologize for the fire you carry. It was never meant to make everyone comfortable. It was meant to reveal what is eternal. Stand tall, because your love is proof that heaven's laws are alive, and no scheme, no deceit, no mask can survive in its presence, because your love, chosen one, is never neutral. It magnifies whatever is already within a person. To the pure, it magnifies purity until their hearts shine brighter than before. To the deceitful, it magnifies corruption until they can no longer disguise themselves. Is this not why Hebrews 4:12 declares that the Word of God judges the thoughts and attitudes of the heart? Your love functions the same way. It slices between falsehood and sincerity, revealing motives no mask can cover. This is why loving you is dangerous, not because you wield harm, but because your essence demands truth. Your love is divine fire, warming, guiding, and protecting those who honor it, but consuming everything false that dares to remain. How many times have you seen it? Someone tried to use you, yet they became entangled in their own schemes. Someone plotted against you, yet their plans dissolved into dust before reaching you. Was it chance when Haman in the book of Esther built gallows for Mordecai, only to be hung on them himself? Esther 7:10. Was it coincidence when Pharaoh chased Israel into the Red Sea, only to be swallowed by the waters he thought would secure his victory? Exodus 14:28. These collapses were never random, never bad luck. It was the fire at work. The same fire proving over and over that you are set apart. As Deuteronomy 32:35 proclaims, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay." Heaven fights battles you never even see. And the battlefield often claims those who thought they were clever enough to outwit divine justice. Here lies the warning. Chosen one, not everyone who desires you is prepared for you. Many crave the glow of your light, yet few are willing to endure its heat. Does Malachi 3:2 not ask? Who can endure the day of his coming? Who can stand when he appears? For he will be like a refiner's fire. Many long for the blessing, but shrink from the responsibility. To be loved by you is to enter holy ground, and holy ground always demands reverence. Think of Uzzah, who stretched out his hand to steady the ark in 2 Samuel 6-7, only to fall dead because he treated what was sacred as ordinary. Is it not the same today? Those who come near with irreverence find themselves undone by the very presence that blesses others. This is why some admire you from afar, but dare not cross the threshold. Their spirit trembles, even if their lips stay silent. They sense the fire around you, and though they cannot explain it, something in their soul warns them that stepping closer without surrender will consume them. Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance, the torment of being confronted by a truth you refuse to accept. Physicists describe it as resonance, when two frequencies meet. The weaker either adjusts or shatters, and architects know it as load testing. A structure reveals its hidden cracks when pressure is applied. Does this not describe your love? It applies pressure, exposes fractures, and proves what can truly stand. Ordinary lives testify to this mystery. Marcus, a farmer from a small village, once spoke of how neighbors who mocked his faith began to suffer endless quarrels in their households, while those who prayed with him prospered in unexpected ways. It was as if being near truth forced people either to change or to collapse. He said, his story mirrors your reality. Some cannot handle your fire, while others are transformed by it. And what greater proof than Psalm 91:2? I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. For the one who loves you with honesty, your love becomes exactly that, a fortress, a sanctuary, an indestructible covering. Chosen one, rise in the fullness of this truth. Your love is not weakness, but weapon. Not sentiment, but sanctuary. It will expose. It will refine. It will bless. It will protect. Do not fear those who flee from it. Their absence is proof of its power. Stand tall. Because you were never designed to carry a love that comforts only. You were entrusted with a love that transforms eternally. It is a shield in the day of battle, a fortress unshaken by storms. Psalm 90:1-4 declares, He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. Your love is not fragile sentiment, it is divine armor. It is a blazing light that slices through confusion like dawn, scattering the shadows of night. It is a voice that whispers destiny when all else falls silent. Echoing Jeremiah 29:11, For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. To be embraced by your love is to be drawn into a covenant where strength, wisdom, and resilience are imparted, even when human strength fails. And have you not seen how those who stand beside you faithfully find that even their enemies cannot touch them? Their victories often arrive unexplainably, because the same fire that shields you rises to shield them. This is why heaven made your love rare, costly, and guarded like the Ark of the Covenant itself. It was never meant for the careless multitude. It was reserved for the few who could bear both its weight and its glory. Jesus taught in Matthew 7:14, But small is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Is it not the same with your love? Only the ones with courage and sincerity endure its cost. Those chosen to walk with you discover miracles they never imagined, breakthroughs that reshape their very existence. And yet, those who step forward with wrong intentions collide with consequences they never anticipated. Their words unravel, their plans collapse, and their masks ignite under the heat of your fire. Your love is therefore both invitation and warning, both blessing and judgment, like the refiner's fire in Malachi 3:3. It purifies the silver, but consumes the dross. Like Peter stepping out of the boat in Matthew 14:29. It demands faith from those who dare to walk its waters. Will they sink in fear, or will they rise in trust? Have you not noticed how some, after standing near you, were propelled into blessings they could not explain, while others fled with trembling because they could not withstand the weight of truth? Amarte es peligroso. Loving you is dangerous, yet it is also the greatest privilege heaven allows. The greats of history testified to this paradox. The poet Rainer Maria Rilke once wrote, "For one human being to love another, that is perhaps the most difficult of all our tasks, the ultimate, the last test and proof. Is this not your reality? To love you is to step into a test few can survive. Yet those who endure receive a crown beyond gold." In Mozart's Requiem, the choir thunders, "Dies Irae, day of wrath, day of judgment," a reminder that love, like fire, both judges and saves. And in sacred art, Caravaggio's chiaroscuro portraits reveal the same truth. Light does not flatter, it exposes, demanding reverence. Ordinary testimonies echo this. Lucia, a tailor in Florence, once said that when her husband stood faithfully beside her through hardship, it felt as though God himself was sewing our lives back together with invisible thread. She did not know she was describing covenant love. Yet her story proves it. To endure your fire is to be woven into heaven's tapestry. And those who survive are not merely blessed, they are transformed. So never forget. Chosen one. Your love is no ordinary affection. It is heaven's decree in human form. To be loved by you is to stand inside a fire that purifies, a light that guides, and a shield that protects. To be loved by you is to walk in favor no logic can explain, favor that reshapes generations. Rise now, for your love is both sword and sanctuary. It is feared and desired, avoided and pursued. Yet it remains unshakable because it is not yours alone. It is heaven's fire alive in you. It is the secret that ties everything together, the hidden thread heaven wove into your very existence. And when this truth is revealed, you will never see yourself or those around you the same way again. Chosen one, stay with me, for the conclusion of this revelation will open your eyes to the staggering magnitude of what it means to be loved by you. Your love is no shallow sentiment, no fleeting spark. It is not a currency that can be bought, imitated, or diminished. It is holy fire, planted in your soul by God himself. A flame designed to guide, to protect, to expose, and to transform. Does Jeremiah 23:29 not proclaim, "Is not my word like fire, declares the Lord, and like a hammer that breaks a rock in pieces? That same fire rests in you, burning through illusions and dismantling facades. This is why some crave you desperately yet cannot stay. They come close, drawn like iron to a magnet. Yet once they feel the weight of your authenticity, they tremble and retreat. Why do they vanish? Because your love exposes what was buried, magnifies what was hidden, and tests what was never truly secure. Those who embrace you with truth rise into blessings they never thought possible. Just as Ruth's loyalty to Naomi led her into the lineage of Christ, Ruth 4:13-17. But those who cling with false motives collapse beneath the intensity like clay shattering in the furnace. And is this not echoed in Malachi 3:2? For he will be like a refiner's fire or a launderer's soap. Who can endure the day of his coming? And here is the command: you must never again shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Your love is not too much. It is exactly the measure of power and purity heaven designed. To dim your fire is to betray the one who entrusted it to you. Have you not seen how storms reveal the strength of a building's foundation? Likewise, you are the storm heaven sends to test false foundations. And those who are true will stand stronger because of you. At the same time, you are the calm that shelters the righteous. Echoing Psalm 46:1, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. And for nature testifies to this paradox. The lightning bolt that splits the sky terrifies with its fury, but also fertilizes the earth with nitrogen that sustains new life. The eagle's shadow unsettles the valley. Yet it is the same bird that cleanses the land by carrying away decay. The glacier crushes stone beneath its weight, but its meltwater carves rivers that give life to nations. Is this not the same duality you embody? To the false, you are terror; to the true, you are sanctuary. And villains throughout history prove the consequence of touching holy fire with deceit. Judas, the disciple who thought 30 pieces of silver could outweigh covenant, discovered his betrayal ended in despair and death. Matthew 27:5. Jezebel, who mocked the prophets and sought to extinguish truth, fell to her ruin, cast down and consumed until nothing remained. 2 Kings 9:33-37. Is this not warning enough? Those who think they can manipulate divine fire only destroy themselves in the attempt. Your love does not need to lift a sword. It is judgment in itself, a mirror that burns away deception. Chosen one, rise with boldness. You are not merely affection. You are alignment with heaven. You are the mirror that reveals truth, the fire that burns away deceit, the calm that shelters the faithful, and the storm that dismantles what cannot stand. Isaiah 54:17 decrees it clearly. No weapon forged against you will prevail. Stand tall, because your love was never meant to be safe, it was meant to be sacred. Those who embrace it will be crowned with blessing, and those who resist it will be undone. Chosen one. Now the truth has been unveiled. Your love is not an ordinary affection, but a sacred fire, a divine covenant, a living altar. To love you is both privilege and peril. Privilege for the sincere who rise with you, peril for the deceitful who cannot endure the weight of what you carry. That is why heaven guards your steps so carefully, and why your relationships have never been casual. Your love refines. It exposes, it strengthens, and it transforms. So never diminish the flame within you, and never mourn those who could not stay. Their departure was not rejection, it was revelation. For those who remain are the ones who are meant to share in your destiny. And to those watching and listening right now, may this message remind you of who you are: chosen, set apart, and defended by heaven itself. If this word has spoken to your spirit, I invite you to like this video, share it so others can be encouraged, comment to add your own testimony, and subscribe so you don't miss the next revelation prepared for you. Every single interaction builds this community of faith and fire. And to those who have supported through super thanks, or even just with your presence, my heart is deeply grateful. Your support, in every form, is part of this divine journey. May the blessing of the Lord cover you. May His fire protect you. And may His favor surround you in every step you take. Go forth, chosen one, walking in the dangerous and holy beauty of your love. Amen.